If the last two videos landed, you know what you're in. Capacity overload. And you know rest alone isn't fixing it. If you haven't watched the first two videos in this series, definitely go back and watch them before you watch this one. This video is about the rebuild. It's not a productivity hack. It isn't a wellness routine. It's 4 moves I come back to whenever the system gives out. And the order matters. Done in the wrong order, none of it works. Done in this order, capacity returns. Most people try to rebuild by adding more rest, more meditation, more whatever the internet sells that week. That's the wrong move. Capacity isn't rebuilt by adding first. It's rebuilt by subtracting first, then adding the right things in the right order. And the target is wrong too. They aim to get back to where they were. That target is what broke them. Here are the 4 moves. Step 1, audit the load, not the symptom. You'll be tempted to fix the symptom. The irritability, the fog, the short fuse. Those are downstream. The load is upstream. Take honest stock. What have you been carrying that you haven't admitted you've been carrying? Whose decisions are you holding? Whose emotions are you absorbing? What problems are you running in the background that you haven't named? Most people skip this step because it asks for honesty they aren't ready to give. Don't skip it. You can't lighten a load you refuse to weigh. Step 2. Cut the demand before you raise the supply. This is the order people get wrong. They try to restore more while the load stays exactly the same. Rest doesn't compound on top of a system still running at full pressure. It just gets absorbed. So before you add anything, you cut. Cancel the meeting that doesn't need to exist. Say no to the thing you'd normally say yes to. Step back from the role you've been holding. You don't need to cut everything. You need to cut enough that your system can exhale. Subtraction is the prerequisite, not the consolation prize. Step 3, hold the line on non-negotiables and drop everything else. This is where momentum gets preserved. The temptation when you're depleted is to do everything at half strength. This is the worst move. Doing everything cuts you both ground and identity. You stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting any of it. The right move is to pick 2 or 3 things and hold those at full strength. Sleep, training, one behavior you refuse to let slip, whatever yours is. Drop everything else without apology. You don't lose momentum by doing less. You lose momentum by doing everything halfway. Smaller surface area, full commitment. That's how discipline survives a low capacity system. Step 4, rebuild upward, not back. When capacity starts to return, and it will, your instinct will be to ramp back up to where you were. Resist that. The point of this season isn't to get back. The previous baseline is what broke you. The rebuild adds capacity in layers, with margin you didn't have before. You come back slower than you'd like. You come back with more slack. You come back with a system that can hold more next time. The goal isn't restoration. It's a stronger version of the system you used to run. That's the order. Audit the load, cut the demand, hold the line on what matters, then rebuild upward. If this series helped, subscribe. There's more coming on building systems that don't keep collapsing in the first place. You're not behind. You're being rebuilt.